Good morning, my friends, and welcome to Sunday as I remove my mask. See, I'm not wearing the black one today. I do want to thank you for sharing this Sunday morning experience with me, and I want to celebrate each and every one of you as we continue to move through this interesting experience of once in a lifetime. Uh, the challenges I'm sure I have and all of you have are there to be met, and we have the power to do it. I also appreciate, and I mentioned this before, how many of you are watching this. We have people in Europe and South Africa and Denmark, Holland. We have people in the East, we have people in Australia, we have people all over the United States and Canada that are viewing these videos, and it is my pleasure to do this for you, and I'm doing it for me also. One of the many questions that came up, someone contacted me and said they were new to New Thought, and the experience they were having was a health challenge, and they wanted to know our source of the idea of health and healing in the New Thought movement. If we explore this, we discover very clearly that spiritual healing is as old as the human being itself from the very beginning. It has been traced in history back to the earliest days of the human experience and human awareness. It's modern revival, which in the United States and Canada, and actually all over the world, happened by way of the New Thought movement. It is something that began about 1850 in the United States, and before that with Thomas Chord and others, Thomas Carlyle. In the United States, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and others who, as we know in the New Thought movement, and referred to Emma Curtis Hopkins as the teacher of teachers, because she was the teacher of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, Ernest Holmes, Fenwick Holmes, my teacher, Nona Brooks of Divine Science, others, who were inspired to move forward and begin what is now called the New Thought movement, actually started by Thomas Chord. We discover these vital men and women experienced at that time and now spiritual healing. Spiritual healing how? Spiritual healing through changes of their individual consciousness. Out of this, great revival in thinking. Reviving to the principles that actually Jesus taught. It is done unto you as you believe that this is so. And you go along with Emerson, that we are what we think about all day long. And Ernest Holmes, who said we think about what we think about because what we think about becomes things. And remember, you're the thinker that thinks the thought that becomes the thing. You're not the thing, you're not the thought, you're the thinker. These vital men and women who explored this principle, this law of mind, discovered its application. One is faith healing. Now we see this happening in evangelical churches. Many times you see the healing, but if they don't release the cause, the reason to heal tends to repeat itself. In the New Thought movement, it is our challenge to not go back and find what caused the problem, but just discover within ourselves what will cause the answer. This is why Carl Jung loved Ernest Holmes so much and appreciated, because it was be in the now and think forward. We've all made mistakes. We've all gone through things. We'd like it to be different. But one of the things, we made it through, and we have a lot of wisdom as a result of making it through, and maybe we're not paying attention to it. Again, the evangelical churches do it through an emotional approach, and healing happens. Great men and women preached such healing in a highly emotional atmosphere, and they had and are still having healings. Now, the second system, which came about in the result of the focus on healing, and this is what really the whole foundation of the New Thought movement is all about. This second system, which has the endorsement of all of the New Thought movement, Unity, Divine Science, CSL, Anton, Emerson Institute, Divine Science, all of it endorses this principle, and this principle widely known as spiritual mind healing or metaphysical healing. Its type of healing is done in quiet sincerity. It is brought forth through vital men and women who practice the healing art taught within all New Thought teaching 7 years before I became a minister. And I'm about to celebrate my 45th year as a religious science minister, and affiliated with Anton and Emerson Institute. I still, in my own self-identification, identify myself as a Religious Science International minister. My guidelines were established by Raymond Charles Barker, by Robert Bitzer, by Ernest Holmes, by Frank Richelieu, by Carmelita Trowbridge, Lillian Holman, others who said we are not afraid to be orthodox religious scientists. I think I've shared with you that Dr. Fenwick Holmes said once we'd be 10 times larger if we just didn't let comfortable nonsense get in the way and sabotage us every 10 years. But these men and women, these wonderful practitioners, and I do consider my practitioner experience, I consider myself a practitioner first, a minister second. As a practitioner of religious science, I celebrate the understanding of spiritual mind treatment, what it is not. And today, if we look around, we recognize there are churches and centers of spiritual mind healing all over this country, all over Canada, Europe. My book, The Power of Positive Purpose, a wonderful Buddhist priest friend of mine read my book and contacted me and said, "Jay, this is pure Buddhism." And I think that's beautiful. I also have a Hindu priest friend who read my book and said, "Jay, this is pure Hinduism." Well, the beautiful thing is, truth doesn't have a copyright. Nobody has a corner on it. And the principle of healing, nobody has a copyright or a corner on it. Again, there are churches and centers of spiritual mind healing throughout the world. And I'm sure there's one near you, no matter where you are. The current and practical method of spiritual mind healing is what is taught there. is what is practiced in silent unity in divine science, religious science. Thousands of people everywhere can testify of the results they've had through following the instructions they've been given by their teachers and practitioners and the literature of their beautiful experience. We celebrate the wonderful teachers that have come our way and left so many wonderful students to practice what they taught. I will say at the Tri-City Religious Science Center here in Fremont, Union City, and Newark. I have had the honor to be pastor here for 45 years. And the celebration we have is one of beauty. I was thinking the other day, because we're about to celebrate our 45th anniversary, that we've actually had more healings here than are recorded in the Bible. If you read my book, Power of Positive Purpose, I have a number of chapters that are specifically on spiritual mind healing and how to practice it. One of the important parts of today's metaphysical healing system is the vast quality of literature, books that are available to you now with the internet, and especially going through this pandemic experience of being locked up. So many of my wonderful colleagues, great metaphysical teachers, great unity teachers, divine science teachers are there. If you have the opportunity, catch Dr. Bill Little down in Monterey on the internet. If you ever have a chance to hear him, he is as clear and one of the best you'll ever hear. But remember, all of us are here to lead you to you, not to us. You see, these books and all of this information on these videos now on the internet are here for you to investigate the technique of spiritual mind healing and discover how to practice it for yourself. You see, we look for the underlying premise within all great teachings. And the higher you go, the more they are alike. Now, you can walk into your metaphysical church and there will be a bookstore there. Stop and get one. I did that once and it changed my life, changed my career, changed my everything, because it woke me up to a greater idea of myself. I proved it to myself, and then I decided I would like to teach other people how to do this. I knew Manly Hall at the Philosophical Research Foundation in Los Angeles back in the 60s, and I was talking to Dr. Hall one day about Dr. Ernest Holmes. He said Dr. Holmes, or Ernest as he called him, of course, said he knew more about all of this stuff than any of us, but the difference was he figured out how to get it out of his head and into his life. And that's what we're here to do. Now, if you go in that bookstore, you will find that you will see beautiful, wonderful, clear authors who have dedicated their life to you having a happier life, a healthier life, a more prosperous life. So you see, the availability of truth in these truth centers is available to everybody. We don't save or convert. I remember Dr. Fenwick Holmes told me his brother said once that the only thing we're here to be saved from is people trying to save us. Because why? The only thing that's going to save you from you is you. Now, again, the availability of truth is right where you are. And if you stop looking for it outside of yourself and discover it within yourself, you'll really discover it. You see, our principle is daily growing. I celebrate two wonderful, great teachers who taught New Thought, kind of in disguise. One of them was, of course, Dr. Wayne Dyer. Wayne helped me start my work about 44 years ago. And my dear, dear friend, the Reverend Dr. Frederick J. Eichenkocher, Reverend Ike. I loved him so much. And again, he was responsible for the beginning of my work here. And his friendship over the years was a very, very important time and a very, very important part of my growth. You see, videos like these, churches like these, books like these are here to reach a great audience and help them discover the greatness within themselves. Millions of people have been touched by it. And all of them, believing in and practicing spiritual mind healing, have proved it to himself, because we don't teach what you can't prove. If you go to any major city, you're going to find a new church, New Thought church somewhere. Look for Unity, look for Religious Science, look for CSL, look for Anton, Emerson Institute, Divine Science. You see, they are listed under different titles: Religious Science, Unity, Divine Science, Christian Science, and Science of Mind. But they also are teaching a basic principle that's actually within all great teaching. But the reason the New Thought movement has grown and is thriving and about to have its conference, over a virtual conference over the internet. This is the 105th anniversary of the INTA, the International New Thought Alliance. I spoke with Dr. Raymond Charles Barker in 1980 in Las Vegas. I think we had about 2,000 people there. I spoke in 1981 with Dr. Raymond Charles Barker in Reno, Nevada. I spoke with Dr. Don Curtis and Dr. Marcus Bach in Portsmouth. And we had a wonderful experience about the time Mount St. Helens was going off. But this truth, which is everywhere at once, is something we explore. And it's not abstract, and we don't hesitate to make sure that we are headed for truth and not hit a stumbling block of comfortable nonsense or nincompoopry, which a lot of people throw into the New Thought movement or the metaphysical movement, and do something that Dr. Finn McComb shared with me, and that is, he said a lot of people who find this teaching would rather be entertained than healed. Well, again, if you find one of these wonderful churches and teachings after this lockup is unlocked and we can get back to church again, you will discover in every one of them a warm welcome awaits you. Anyone and everyone, I feel, that attends Unity, Divine Science, Religious Science, CSL, I don't care where they go. As Ernest Holmes said once, when they find one of our churches, we want them to feel like they've come home. But you will also find qualified spiritual mind practitioners who are always available for counseling. And if you take the time to sit down with a religious science practitioner, compensate them for their time and effort. They spend a lot of years achieving that practice, and taking time out to share their metaphysical expertise with you is worth you say thank you and compensate them. Now, what is the basic idea? The basic idea we're talking about is included in all the systems we're talking about, is that the individual is spiritually perfect right here and right now. You are spiritually perfect right here and right now. There is no preaching of sin or salvation. There is, though, a great emphasis on the need to change basic thinking from the accepted negative thinking of the world. We were advised 2,000 years ago, be not conformed to the world, be transformed. How? By the renewing of your mind. If you stop accepting the negative thinking of the world and shift to a true knowing that the person is perfect, spiritual, and divine, and that includes you, the person you're treating for, yourself or others, is now and shall ever be perfect in body and in mind and affairs. This is the guarantee of the universe. You see, my friends, these ideas that I share with you in these videos on Sunday and Wednesday, and again, I thank you for taking the time to watch it and taking the time to embody the lesson. These bi-weekly lesson that I'm doing and all the other videos you can get now on the internet are something that we share every time we open up our mouth and teach a lesson in new thought. So I share this lesson with you. I know the truth of you, that you in truth are a mighty moving power of God in your world. And I'm a mighty moving power of God in mine. And the God in me reach the God in you, and thanks you for sharing this time with me this morning. Namaste. And now, my friends, if we were in the sanctuary of our church and I had just finished my Sunday talk, the next thing we would do is have a solo or have music and pass the basket. Well, I don't have any music for you unless you want to hear me sing, but we will pass the metaphysical basket and thank you for your love and your support. My wonderful assistant, Katrina Anderson, will put information on the screen for you to send a love offering to us, and we ask you for it with love. We appreciate it with love and know it multiplies back to you with love. Thank you so much. You're blessed through your giving. We are blessed through your receiving. And it's all God greeting itself. And now, my friends, let's have a closing treatment. We've been talking about spiritual mind treatment. We've been talking about how to give the best of ourselves to the world we live in such a way that love and action becomes our way. Again, spiritual mind treatment has 5 steps. We recognize there is one life. That life is God. That life is our life. And after we recognize this, we then affirm. And our affirmation is not to make something happen, but it is to let something happen. And so what we are doing in our words, we are describing what is already true. And because we're doing this, we are allowing ourselves the experience of something dropping on the floor, and I'm sure you heard it. But we're also allowing ourselves to know that after you describe what is already true, release the treatment. You're not trying to make something happen, you're letting it happen. And we do this by letting go of the treatment, releasing the treatment to the great law of mind that knows what to do and how to do it, and we know it's doing it. And then we give thanks that it's done. We give thanks that it's whole, perfect, and complete now. So I'm going to speak my word now in first person. You join with me. As you hear these words, be yours. As I know only harmony right now. There is one life. It is God. It is my life. It's the life of everyone listening to these words. It is the life of all of our members and friends. It is the life of all the New Thought movement. It is the life of everyone, everywhere. The one life of God. There is a dynamic power for good. It is omnipresent reality. It is everywhere I am. It is everything I am. It is all that I am. This omnipresent reality in action as me now is free to demonstrate new and beautiful experiences, healthy, happy experiences. I now focus from my desired good to celebrate my instantaneous release from anything and everything unlike the beautiful. Health, happiness, and love in me as me is me. I know only harmony as I flow along in my perfect way. Love without an opposite reveals itself fully without disguise in me as me. I honor everything I get to do today, and I do it with joy. Without thinking about, worrying about, or analyzing it, I accept it for what it is and just let go and let God do it as me. Today I choose to be noticeably different. I choose to be noticeably different. It is my way. I act and do ordinary things in an important way. My life now points directly from the truth of my being through the veil which reveals to me the innermost mind. As I see and realize my infinite nature, I know more than ever before. What I'm looking for, I'm looking with. What I'm looking for, I am looking with. I truly embrace it. I truly embrace it in my wonderful way. I truly embrace the wonder of positive expression. I truly embrace the joy of knowing and knowing that I know, of knowing and feeling, of the love for all people. I honor this within myself. And I know that I choose today to be a light to all the people, places, and things in my world. I choose to be a light to everyone listening to this treatment and becoming one with it. With strength and inner peace and calmness, I greet my every situation, knowing it is God, as God's event. I celebrate what I know I am, the mighty moving power of God in my world. I give thanks that I know this is true, and let it be my way, and so it is. And so it is, my friends. Namaste. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Be safe. I love you. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Have a good one.